What I'm trying to do is something different today. As a matter of fact, it is about what is different. It is about how to be different and how to look at life in a different way. It is a paradigm shift, a new way of thinking, a different way of thinking. And the first lesson on that journey is that life is learning, is that we all learn things. Each and every one in this world has learned things. We all have learned things. And we all are very unique and different. Each and every one of us. I don't know if you ever have wondered why we are so divided in this world. And we see all these different belief systems and people who have different opinions, different values. We grow up with those, of course. We have a different understanding of God, of truth, of peace, of love, different values, different ideologies. And we seem to be all pursuing those things. But when we talk about life, the meaning of life, the nature of man, what is that? What makes us tick? What motivates us? Why do we do what we do? These are questions that lie at the root, at the foundation of the conscious revolution. How can we evolve in our consciousness and really learn for ourselves, learn about ourselves, learn to really understand ourselves, and through this we can learn to understand others. So that is what we're here to learn. I'm not here to impose my belief systems onto you. Of course I have those. I'm not here to tell you or give you advice about what you should or shouldn't do. But what I'm here to do is to really help you listen to yourself a little bit better. Is for you to understand yourself a little bit better, and through this also to understand others. In order to have more positive relationships, in order to be able to communicate yourself more effectively towards others, in order to understand yourself better. The reason for why you are not happy, the reason for why you are not successful, whatever that means to you, is all in the mind. In theory, you could be living with a high degree of enlightenment, happiness, love, creativity, the sense of inner peace in the here and now. Now, you need nothing for that. We all give reasons for why we are unsatisfied. We all seem to be blaming others, blaming our government. It's because there's so much war and fighting in the world that we are not happy. And so it seems that we are all eager to change things outside of our control. And this is where, this is where we can learn. This is where we can begin to learn that it's not about changing anything outside of us. It is about acceptance. Through acceptance we can learn. We can learn to see things as they are. We can learn to perceive the truth. It's a very difficult practice to perceive the truth, because the truth is uncomfortable, the truth is scary, the truth is threatening. And so of course it is much, much, much easier to focus on what we want, how we want to change things outside of us, looking for happiness outside of us. This seems to be so much easier than taking responsibility for ourselves and examining ourselves. Understanding how we work, how our mind works, how we think, how we feel, in order to then give all of that direction. It's about self-examination, self-control, giving up our need to control things outside of us, and instead learning to gain positive control over ourselves. This is where it all begins. Ultimately, we have the freedom to be who we choose to be. We don't need others to agree with us, even though we seem to be eager to have others who are just like us. When it comes to love, for example, or friendship, we're looking basically for people who are just like us. When we're thinking about love, we're also looking for somebody who can make us feel we would want them to make us feel. And when we talk about transformation, true transformation is possible only if we learn to take but to look at others as they are and to then love them for who they are and to learn them. Especially those people who are difficult for you to deal with. They will not change. The only thing that can change is your response to that. That's where it all begins, to changing your response to those things in life which ultimately cannot be changed. I'm paraphrasing Stephen Covey. What he it is one of the concepts, the main concepts that he wrote about in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. To realize our freedom, that we have a choice between what happens to you and your response to what happens to you. That is your freedom. It's not the freedom to have everything the way you want to. That is actually very selfish if you think about that. It's all about the me, me, me. I think maybe that's all about the ego. But life is about what we give. Life is about what we contribute towards others. Love is a giving of ourselves. Is an opening ourselves up to that which we do not understand and that which might be a little bit scary and uncomfortable. But if you really think about that, if all of us human beings in this world go around and looking for what we want out of life, we're looking for what makes us comfortable and happy, there is no surprise that we're all divided. There is no surprise that we all argue and fight and compete over who's right and who's wrong, and we all again looking for that which we want or that which we are missing within ourselves. It is right here, right now. We have it already. You have it already. You have everything you need in order to be fully successful, completely unconditionally happy and loving. And by being this way, you will attract that which you want in life. If you learn to focus on what you want, not if you focus on what you don't want, but if you it begins within your mind, within your thoughts, about what is the life you want to live. And of course, before you do that, it is also important to understand that life is an art to be learned. It is not just for you to passively wait and hope for things to come your way, and all you do is focus on what you want. Life is an activity, as Erich Fromm talked about extensively, the person who greatly inspired me on my work, Erich Fromm. We're talking about that life is an activity, an art to be learned. Love is an art to be learned. The Art of Loving, he wrote an amazing book. If you haven't read that, I encourage you to do so. Love is a matter of responding to the need of love in the other person. It's a matter of giving ourselves to the other person. It is an acceptance. Without acceptance, how can we love somebody if we don't unconditionally accept somebody? If you don't really understand somebody, how can we love somebody if we don't understand them? And how can we understand somebody if we don't accept them? It's the same with this world. How can we love life if we don't accept the way things are? We accept, the great homeless situation, for example, here in San Francisco. Myself having been on the street and gained some very interesting experiences, meeting people, amazing people, going through a great amount of distress, and we all go through this kind of distress in life. Seemingly, those experiences, traumatic experiences, negative experiences, shape our view, because that's what we know about life. We learn about life. If we have learned that life is difficult, that's how we look at life. It's all about struggle, and so the struggle defines us, and we are trapped within those paradigms. And so we think like life is about getting what we want, and it's the paradigm we learn growing up in school. You have to learn hard, you have to work hard, you have to suspend your instant gratification as children. Don't ask questions but listen, pay attention, focus attention to what somebody else tells you. Obey authority, of course. The cardinal sin, the greatest sin, and that's an interesting parallel if we look at the Bible, which talks about disobedience being the number one sin. We have to obey. Obedience to this power outside of us. But what I am talking about, and transformation is all about that, it's about the power within. Enlightenment. To become an extension of that light which brought us here in the first place. And here we are so into the physical world with, we just had Christmas and the holidays and buying things and presents, that we forget that life is a gift and the best things in life are free. And with this, I leave you for right now. I thank you for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to be speaking to you soon. Thank you, and all the best to you. Bye-bye.